Hello my friend, my name is Dragonheart, the Prince of Wales, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to today's video, which is a very speculative video to do with the vampire counts, and in particular the Vampire Coast. Now, if you're the first time watching my channel, I am a Old World player, and I've been playing Old World for just over a year. Been to my first tournament, been collecting some armies, been painting them up, been really enjoying myself. But my background is from the Total War series of games. Been playing Total War for many years, and one of my favourite factions in the Total War game are the Vampire Coast. I just think undead, zombies and things, combined with Pirates of the Caribbean, just makes something really magical, something really fun to play, and I think it'd be quite cool to have them in the game. So in this video, I'm just going to be doing like a little mini presentation on some things that I would like to see if this was ever implemented into the Old World, which is very speculative, very wishful thinking, and of course, as the slide says, I am probably talking a lot of rubbish. So take what I say with a pinch of salt. This is just meant to be a fun video, and I'd be interested to hear your thoughts of this video in the comment section below. But yeah, what we're going to do, we're going to get into it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the vampire counts. I've actually started doing a vampire counts army myself, and I have some models here that you'll see. I got some Crypt Ghouls, I got some Blood Knights down by there as well. A couple of models that I've bought. But what I'm basically doing here, I'm showing you that vampire counts, even though they're a legacy faction, they are effectively in Warhammer Age of Sigmar. You can get Nighthaunt, you can get Soulblight Gravelords, or Flesh Eater Courts. They've basically taken the entire range of vampire counts and split them into three sort of subgroups or sub-factions for that game. But like I said, 99% of the models are readily available from Games Workshop already. Obviously, you just got to do what I'm going to be doing, and that is buying square bases to put them on. They recently had a bit of fun, the social media team from Games Workshop, and they teased a photo, which I'll put on the screen right now, basically of a vampire lord with a load of bats in the background and stuff, and it looked quite interesting. It's like they're teasing us. Maybe they're going to become a fully fledged core faction, possibly. For a long time, fans have been saying that legacy factions should be in the main game anyway, and they're hoping that these factions will get re-released into it. So I'm going to come at you from a different angle here. I'm going to be saying that Games Workshop, it's not cost effective for them to make a brand new army with a brand new range when the models already exist, because that would be cost them a lot more money than they are prepared to probably spend. And at the end of the day, they're a business, they're looking to make profit margins, so of course that makes total sense. But I'm looking at it from almost like a soft launch kind of thing. I'm also got to take into consideration that Grand Cathay are getting a full release. They already are doing a full-fledged brand new army for this game system, but it would be quite interesting to see a way where they could get Vampire Coast into the game as a faction or a sub-faction, and that's where the Arcane Journal that I have created comes in. So this is the Arcane Journal of the vampire counts. Very bare bones, if you will. You'd obviously have two armies in the Arcane Journal, as we've had with all the other ones. For example, I have an Orcs and Goblins Arcane Journal where you get to play as the Troll Horde, which of course you get like the Troll Hag and loads of trolls you can have into like your core, which is really fun. Or you can play my personal favourite, which is Nomadic Warg, which means you get a load of boars and wolf riders and everything is mounted. It just means you get to play with the units or with the models in a completely different way that you usually would. And that's kind of the angle that I'm coming with for the vampire count. So it would be one of two armies. I haven't worked on a second army. This is Vampire Coast that we're looking at today, but Vampire Coast would be one of those armied, and one of those armies in the book, and it would be 4 new models within the range. So it would be a soft launch. It would be less restrictive because you would be making and producing and selling 4 models as opposed to say 20 to 30 odd if it was a brand new army. So it would probably be more cost effective, and obviously there's going to be a lot of vampire count players out there. That way you're able to get them to buy these models, or you're looking at it from a point of view of you're a new player that's interested in the Old World. Maybe that particular unit there looks really cool. Oh, that's a Vampire Coast army. Okay, I might want to buy Vampire Count models. hence where Age of Sigmar comes in. So either way, you make from Games Workshop's perspective, you're making money off of Age of Sigmar, which is what they're doing anyway with the legacy factions, but you're also making money off new old world models. So that's kind of the way that I'm doing it. And like I've already mentioned, most of the range already exists in Age of Sigmar. So with 4 new models, how is this going to work? Well, Luther Harkon, I've just gone with him because he's the main guy from the Total War games. But you would have a new character type, and that would be a vampire pirate. You've already got like vampire lords, you've already got necromancers, cairn wraiths, all those kind of characters, but you're gonna have a vampire pirate. Now what would a vampire pirate actually do in the game? Well, special abilities could be something like a leadership test. So if passed on a D3, all units within command range get extra movement. So obviously the zombies are quite slow moving. They shouldn't have like swift stride or anything like that. So they're just going to be ambling up the board. They can't march like other factions. So if you're within the command range of him, he passes his leadership check. All of a sudden, D3 zombies, D3 whatever skeletons or whatever units you have. Oh, they got +3, they got +2, they got +1. So every little helps to get up the board a little bit quicker. And that's something that they can just do. It'll work in a very similar way to how the Tomb Kings have My Will Be Done. At the start of the turn, you do the leadership check, and then you go from there. You could pay for an upgrade option for your Vampire Pirate. So it could be something like 30 points to give you an additional unit of zombie gunners, which we're going to talk about a little bit more in a few moments. But basically, zombies in Warhammer at the moment, they cost 60. They cost 60 points, and you get 20 of them. So you get quite a lot of models for 60 points. Effectively, by getting an upgrade option of 30 points, you get to have one. Just like that for 30 points. So a 30 point cost for an extra unit of zombie gunners. Obviously, it's a horde type of army, so you're trying to overwhelm. I just think the idea of having zombies with guns is really cool, which we are going to talk about momentarily, but that would be quite cool. And then for the vampire pirate type of character, you could introduce some sort of ship-inspired mount. You could call it something HMS Titanic or whatever floats your boat, pun intended. So just think of some kind of like really cool mount model that they could make or something with some guns or something like that, or some kind of like undead dragon with shark fins or whatever. It's a fantasy game. The world's your oyster, so you can just create whatever you want to. But some kind of cool mount, it would be something that people would be looking to buy, be sought after possibly, especially if you make it look really cool and stuff and not dodgy looking. Obviously this is very wishful thinking and I'm talking a lot of rubbish, so please bear with me. However, I'm a very enthusiastic lover of the wet undead and think it would be cool to actually make them wet. So that's kind of where I'm coming from this. But that's just a couple of random ideas I've had for a vampire pirate, and that would be the first model within this range. Next up, we have the zombie gunnery mobs. This is a unit from the Total War game. It would cost 60 points. Like I said, normal zombies cost 60, so this could also cost 60. Or maybe you could, for the gunner type, it could be 65 or something like that, because you are getting guns effectively for it. And if you pay 30 for the upgrade for the Vampire Pirate, you get the one for 30. So that's how you could sort of integrate it into the list building type of thing. It has absolutely crap in command. Its leadership and everything is just very rubbish. Its strength and toughness is crap. It's a one wound model. It doesn't do anything. It's a zombie. But it'll have a fun rule with pistols where you choose to fire at something during the shooting phase, and on a 4-up you hit. But anything that misses, or a 5-up or a 6-up, if it's anything below a 4-up, so a 3, a 2 or a 1, so it's a 50-50 chance, you would cause a self-inflicted wound. So it's a zombie that's like staggering around holding a gun, it's just shaking around, and it's a 50-50 chance of it's going to shoot you to hit, or it's going to hit itself. And then it'll have a regen, it'll have like a 6-up regen save, so it might not kill itself, but it's a very strong possibility it's going to kill itself. So it's 50-50 on shooting, and then that. So I just think having the zombies where it could do a bit of damage in the shooting range. I like the idea of a slow-moving zombie being able to actually shoot something. And of course, if you roll really well, you're going to wound something with a zombie, which I think is hilarious. So it's high risk, high reward, but a very low point cost. So it's like I'm going to slowly amble up to you. Let's say you've got, I don't know, an army in front of me, Empire army, state troops in front of me. I got my zombies here. They're shaking around, they're dead, all that kind of stuff. Their guns are like shaking towards you. And then on a 4-up, boom, the shot lands. On a 1, 2, or 3, boom, it shot itself. I just think that's so thematic and so funny. It would be a fun rule to bring this unit in, and of course it'd be only existing in the Arcane Journal that I've just made up off the top of my head, in this Vampire Coast army. So that's what you do. Now, of course, you're self-inflicted. You shot yourself. You've just lost a couple of zombies. Don't worry, you're a zombie. You're vampires. You can of course revive the fallen. So even a self-inflicted wound, you can still next turn try and revive them. So they still play like a regular zombie would. But I just think it'd be quite a fun way to introduce them. And like I said, you could get like one for half price by upgrading a lord, or you could get maybe pay like an extra 5 points or 10 points for the gun version of zombies, which is what we'll talk about here. I just think it'd be really, really funny. So that's so I've got my lord. It's a new lord character, and we've got a new core character. So now we're going to talk about the Bloated Corpse, my favourite unit out of the 4 that I've got on here. So the Bloated Corpse is in the Warhammer 2 and Warhammer 3 games. This would be in special, so we'd have basically doing one in each. So we've got Lord, Core, Special, and Ray. So this would cost something like 150 to 200 points. It'd be a 4 wound model. It'd have strength 5, toughness 4. Give it the ambusher upgrade option. It gives it potential to get into the flanks of your enemy, or to get behind your enemy, especially if they've got like artillery. A little bit like how the Tomb Scorpion works with the Tomb Kings. So you can pay like an extra 5 or 10 points. Oh, it's got ambusher. It can come on the side. It can come wherever. It's going to be like a slow moving time bomb. So every turn after it enters the field of play, it needs to take a leadership check. Now, bear in mind, it's going to have very sort of average leadership. So it's going to be like a leadership 7 or something, I think we'd give it. Maybe 6 or 7. I think 7, because I think that's more like the sweet spot. Which is slightly below average, because obviously you can get... Actually, it's slightly above average, because 6 and 6. I can't do maths, apparently. 6 and 6 is 12. So 7 would be slightly... Yeah, something like that. I think something like a 50-50 chance of making it or failing it would be good. So every turn it enters the field of play, there's a leadership check or test. If passed, nothing happens. If failed, it takes a wound. So it comes on like the second or third turn. It goes forward a few inches or wherever. It doesn't have swift stride. And then you do a leadership check. It fails. Oh shit! It lost a wound. Then you carry on. You go again. Oh, it's lost another wound. Now, of course, it will have a chance to do a regen save on a 6-up, so it might not lose that wound. But effectively, what you're doing, every single turn, it has a chance of taking a wound before it even gets into combat. That's how I would sort of implement it. Once all wounds have been taken from this model, it does a strength 5, AP -3, hit to models. I got models, enemies. I can't do English apparently. All models, including enemies and yourself, within 12 inches. So, kaboom! It's a Bloated Corpse. It explodes. It does a big, massive explosion. You're going to basically use this model in a way where it's 150 to 200 odd points. You're more than happy to throw 200 points away per game with this model, because it's probably not going to survive any battle whatsoever. That's kind of how I've built the rules with this, and obviously you can pick apart the rules I've displayed here and spoken about. But effectively, you're going to come on and you're going to target something, and they're going to explode and try and take it out. So it gives you a hard counter possibly to like your big dragon lords and your things with like unbelievable saves and unbelievable rules and mechanics going on. Like, you think of like a chaos warrior, a chaos lord on dragon, which is quite hard to take down. A Bloated Corpse might not take it down, but it might take half its wounds away or something ridiculous. So that's kind of the point of it. It can, you basically got this model up your sleeve where it's like, haha, on turn 3 it's come on, I can see an enemy that's now exposed over there, I'm gonna amble towards it, and you might explode before you get there. So that's the other risk, high risk, high reward. So depending on where you place it, and depending on how lucky or unlucky you are, you might explode and you might take out your own dudes. So that is the risk. So I think it's like a high risk, high reward kind of model. It's a ticking time bomb which will explode and will do a lot of damage when it explodes. But there's also a little bit of skill involved because placement is key. So as long as you put it away from your own units, you're fine. But obviously, if the battle's in the center of the battlefield, you're looking to try and get there with this model. And if it explodes, kaboom! It might do a lot of damage to you and your enemy. And of course, it could be a case where the enemy makes its saves and you don't make your own saves, so it has more of an effect on you in a bad way than the enemy. So it's just a fun little unit. I think 150, 200 points, more or less, is where I would have it in that kind of feel. I think it's what I've given it strength 5, toughness 4, and a 4 wound model. It's not too far off what the Khemrian War Sphinx is. Off the top of my head, I might be wrong with that, but that seems about right. So that's where I'd put the Bloated Corpse. And like I said, it's something you come on. You can blow up an artillery piece. You're committed to throwing away 150 to 200 points per game with this model. But if it takes out something that's like twice its size or twice its point range or something, then it might be points well spent. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. And then finally, the big boy himself, the Necrox Colossus. So this is effectively a big, massive ship with like weird like gun arms and stuff. It's going to cost quite a lot. It's going to be like 230, 240-ish points, maybe pushing 300 points with an upgrade. It's going to, of course, be in rare. It's going to be a rare choice. It's going to have strength 5, toughness 6. It's going to be a 5 wound model. That's what I've given it in my little speculative, wishful thinking video here. It's going to have a long range bombing attack, like 36-inch range. I think that covers quite a large part of the battlefield, which I think is quite cool. This, however, would be replacing its regular shooting in the shooting phase. So effectively, you've got a choice of doing a big long-range bomb attack, or you've got a shorter range gunpowdered shooty kind of attack. So that's what you've got. You've got a choice of one or the other. Now this model, the pros of this model is it's a behemoth and it has close order. It's effectively a mobile tank type of creature that does in fact cause terror. So anything that charges it or you charging things, there's going to be terror checks involved. It doesn't have swift stride though, so it's not going to be able to get around quick because it's a big massive magical undead ship being held together with vampiric magic. So it's not going to be flying up the board like some crazy maniac. It's going to literally be armed and up. It's going to shoot. It's basically going to be there to shoot and then get into combat. That's kind of what's there. Or it's going to soften up the enemy's long range stuff with its own bombing run or something. So you're not safe from short range, you're not safe from long range, but you've got time to react as the reacting player, so you know what it does. You can try and, tie it down in combat early on by ambushing it or doing something with it. You can shoot it with your own artillery and stuff to try and take your wounds off it that way. But you do know that it will try to shoot you and it will try to get in combat with you. But it is going to be very expensive. I think you need to limit this to like 1 per army, so you can't take more than 1. I think that's fair. Like I said, it's going to be a slow moving target, so you have got time to react. It won't have swift stride. So there's a lot of units in the old world that have swift stride. This is one that will not have swift stride, so you will have opportunity to react and deal with it as best you can. But also, as the player side of it, how fun would it be just to have a big undead ship just shooting things with bombs and stuff and things. I just got a big thing of just things exploding, and I think that's the one thing I've learned about myself in this video. I just like undead things and explosions. That just sums up my personality, I think. So yeah, that's where I've come from. That's just something that just occurred to myself, like, on reflection, I have a morbid curiosity for the explosions. So yeah, that's the Necrox Colossus. So to recap quickly, we've got a new vampire lord. That's something they could maybe make, and that would be like a cool model to collect and build, and you could give it a cool mount as well. You've got your zombie gunnery. They're going to be your core, so they're going to cost 60 points or maybe 65 to 70 points with like guns if you wanted to go that route. But you could get one for half price for 30 points, and they would have a cool shooty move where they might inflict themselves or inflict on the enemy. Then you have a Bloated Corpse, which is going to do boom, big kabooms. It's going to blow up things, and it can ambush things and blow up, which is even funnier, I think, and would make things fun, I think, to react to and not react to and whatever. That would be interesting. Then finally, the Necrox Colossus. It's going to be in rare, and it'll be a big behemoth to try and take down, but I think it'd be quite fun. So how did I do? Well, I don't know. That's for you to answer. It's a fun video. This is a fun video. This is coming from a guy who enjoys Total War, a guy who has got into the old world, has enjoyed playing some games of the old world. I've now played my first tournament in the old world recently. I've played a few battles with different armies, and I'm collecting vampire accounts, so I'm going to be getting onto the whole vampire bandwagon at some point. They were my favourite faction to play as in the Warhammer games, Total War games, so I'm looking forward to building these up and playing with them. This is just like a speculative, wishful thinking type of thing of, wouldn't it be cool if one day we could play as this kind of sub-faction? I think that would be interesting. So please leave your suggestions in the comment section below. I would really appreciate the feedback, and give me your own crazy ideas, because I think that would be really, really fun. And yeah, we'll go from there. If you've enjoyed this video, please drop a like. I would really appreciate it. I am planning to do more old world videos in the coming months. I'm going to probably do a build live stream, because I've got, like I said, I got these models here. I'm thinking of doing like a build live stream of like my Crypt Ghouls or my Blood Knights or something when I eventually come to building all of these as well. And I'm going to do a hobby or just hobby video in the next few weeks as well, because I've got a lot of stuff that I've been doing and working on. Anyway, I've been Dragonheart. Thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.